Morning, Adam, and welcome to episode 2 of CookemUp. Mate, I couldn't wait to get back out in the tracks again and get my belly all warmed up with beautiful restaurant quality food cooked at the camp.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. That's pumped to be here. Can't wait to get started on the next one.
Yeah, mate, well, keeping it local again, we're out to a place with the name of Bald Knob. It's a private property up there on the top of Maley. We should be able to look out over the ocean, I'd say, and what a beautiful looking day it is. The weather's supposed to be absolutely perfect, but cold tonight. Plenty of campfires and lots of good tucker.
Most certainly. We're running a little early for dinner though. We got somewhere on the cards to stop off for lunch.
Yeah, actually, mate, down this road here, there's a great little day use area. Mate, we'll pull over there because, yes, like you said, it's coming towards lunch. Mate, we'll get the goodness happening already.
No worries. I got something really Australian orientated for us today for lunch, so we'll get stuck into that. I'll follow you out and we'll get pulled over when we're ready. G'day guys, back again. I'm just at the Booloumba Creek Day area, just outside of Kenilworth. Just going to smash up a quick salad for lunch. I'm using some kangaroo meat today. Super lean. This is going to be a really healthy option for your lunchtime today. I'm just going to get started on the veg. Always like to be very aware of the order in which I prep things when I'm out sort of in these sort of isolated sort of areas where you're a little bit constricted with your ability to like stay clean and fresh and all the rest of it. So I've just got a couple of different greens here. I'm using some rocket, some baby spinach. I've got a little baby gem and some red oak here. You can punch this salad up with some quinoa or something like that if you want to get a little bit of carbs into there. But today I'm just keeping it nice and fresh and green. So I'm just going to start with grilling up some pumpkin. Same way we did it in episode 1. Just going to trim it up, grill it up. All right, that's our pumpkin preps. Just a little bit of olive oil on there. All right, salt, pepper. Right, straight on the grill. Before I get stuck into prepping the kangaroo, I'm going to just separate the leaves from what I need. I don't want to chop them, slice them up. I want to keep them relatively whole. Just want to pop them off the roots where I need to. That way, when I get stuck into prepping the kangaroo, I'm not going to really worry about or be concerned about cross-contaminating raw meat onto our lettuce, because once she's cut and good and fresh and ready to go, that's all we really need. All right, change our boards out. All right, kangaroo. So this salad, if you're a bit weirded out by kangaroo, I'm going to say you shouldn't be. It's lovely meat, super lean, super healthy for you. Substitute this with emu. This is a very similar flavour. I've got the loin here. This is the one you want to go for the grilling. But if you're really not that keen on using any of these meats, you can easily sub this out for like a lamb loin. Work perfectly. But I really want to showcase these Australian meat. All right, same as anything, you want to search for any silver skin. We've got a little bit here, it's not too bad, it's been trimmed up quite nicely. And then once we've got any of that removed, we're just going to locate the grain and then cut them nice and thinly. Because this is so lean and kangaroo use their muscles quite a lot, any meat you get off them is going to be quite tough. So we're going to cut it quite thin, so we can combat that natural toughness of the grain of the meat. So you can see I'm cutting that really thin. And the grain's running, You can see it's running this way. It's sort of on the loin, it's in a couple of different ways, but predominantly running down this way. So we're just gonna cut straight across it. And super, super thin. When we cook this, we're just gonna give it a real quick sear. Probably something in the likes of 40 seconds aside to a minute. Just want to take it to that nice medium rare. You can take it a little bit further to medium, but like with any of these hard-working mussels, the closer you get it to well done, they're going to become really, really tough. So I got about 1 kilo of kangaroo. I'm going to be able to use probably, I usually work off 200, 250 grams per person, something like this, with most meat. So when you're buying your meat, sort of keep that in mind. I'm going to chuck it in the plate, give it a little dress. Just a little bit of olive oil on that, probably a couple of tablespoons worth. Put it around, crack open our Lane's signature here, like just using this one. But this is mostly just for a seasoning. You can just use salt and pepper if you like. That'll work extremely well. I'm going to finish with a bit of the smoked pepper today on the salad, and also a bit of that beautiful Summerland Camel Fetta. Gonna be amazing. All right, yeah, we'll just wait for the pumpkin to be ready, and then we'll move on to cooking the roux. What I'm gonna do is just gonna rest that pumpkin a little bit. I wanna build the salad base. All right, so back to these greens I picked before. So you just wanna layer it up, just build it, nice couple of layers. So I've got a couple of different flavors going on here. Your rocket, as everybody knows, a little bit mustardy. You'll be familiar with the Baby Gems, usually get something like that, or a cos in a Caesar salad, so it's nice and watery. Got some spinach in there for another flavor. That's going to work really, really well with the strong flavors that are going on with the kangaroo. So first batch of kangaroo on. Like I said, remember it's a fast sear on this one. You don't want it to go too far. It's going to get quite chewy on you. Drop that real quick. All right, while we're waiting for that, just dress your salad. So normally when I'm making a salad like this, I'll just literally olive oil and either balsamic vinegar or just lemon juice, really. Just let those flavors that we've spent all that time on hero themselves, you know? So we're just spattering some pumpkin around there. All right, that's perfect. So that guy's really, really fast on those. Okay, just gonna lay these bad boys on there. Nice amount of protein on that salad. Fill you up, get you lots of energy for the rest of the day. Depending on what you're doing, whether you're forward driving out there on the dirt bikes or just going for a hike, it's gonna be a great lunchtime. All right, so this is fundamentally what the finished product's gonna look like. So a nice piece of that feta. This is almost going to act like a dressing as well as it crumbles through the salad as you mix it up. Very lovely. A little bit more of that. Well, there's colours, guys. All right, and just finish off with a bit of cracked black pepper, the smoked stuff. Oh, look at that, guys. Magic. All right, Gleno, you want to grab this one, my man?
Oh, I do.
Introduce you to a bit of grilled kangaroo.
Yeah, I'm keen for this.
Yeah.
Give it a crack.
Give it a crack. All right, my man. Here we go. Oh. That is your energy salad right there,
mate.
I'm telling you, we're gonna make friends. We're gonna make friends with that one.
I'm doing some bloody eating. I know that much. I better go get some knives and forks.
No doubt.
You're a friggin' master.
Never had kangaroo so good,
that
my man?
Is so tender. It's got a nice flavour too.
I don't think anybody should shy away from kangaroo meat. It's beautiful, especially in this application, because it's very unadulterated. It's not jammed in a sausage full of God knows what. All right, guys. So that's it. That's the kangaroo salad. I would, like I said, you can sub this out for some lamb if you really like, but Glenn, you tell me, do you really want to sub that out with some lamb, or are you happy with what you got today?
Extremely happy with this.
All right, so I encourage you guys to have a crack at it. And yeah, had some tucker.
Good gear. Good gear.
All right, let's go have a seat.
You know you're going to be responsible for me losing weight, getting healthy.
Hopefully we can kill two birds with one stone.
Hey Adam, that was a nice little stop in that Booloumba Days area, mate, and a nice touch, mate, with the old kangaroo.
Oh, I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, it was a magic spot. Yeah, good little quick stop off. Lunch was super quick. I hope everyone saw how easy it was to hunch that one out. Probably didn't take us much longer than 15 minutes. Off we go, on to the next one.
Yeah, we're going to get into camp nice and early. Get in and get a fire lit to keep us warm. You may even need it for cooking tonight.
Yeah, I'm thinking I might be able to use it to cook the flatbreads, but we'll see how we go. I'm still struggling with the name of this place. Don't mind the Riverdell part of it. The bald knob's still playing on me, but I'm sure it's going to be picturesque up the top of the hill there. So I'm looking forward to getting in there, getting all set up, and getting stuck into dinner.
Yeah, cool, man. It's nice and relaxing. I'm loving it. I get to kick back and watch you do your thing, and you know, I might even have a beer.
Beer sounds good to me. And as far as cooking is concerned, it's definitely not as stressful as slamming the pans around in a commercial kitchen. So I'm enjoying all sides of it at the moment as well. So can't wait to get stuck into this next cook. It's going to be a good one. I hope everyone enjoys it.
Mate, I'm pretty sure we will. But in the meantime, taking the scenery, this Kenilworth Maley Road, I think it is. We're heading sort of Maley way. It's beautiful out here. Absolutely magic.
Mate, these hills and these valleys, I haven't seen anything like it in a long time. Beautiful. Anybody should get out here and have a drive. It's lovely.
Righto, mate. Let's do it.
G'day guys, we're back again. We're here at Bald Knob, which is just next to Maley. This is the Riverdell property, and just have a look at that view. You can't see it to my left, but we've got the whole coastline all the way up to Noosa, and this valley behind us is beautiful, beautiful. All right, so I'm just going to get started with a quick flatbread recipe. It's inspired by the dish we're going to do tonight, which is a Iranian Goat Curry. So it's a take on an Iranian flatbread. I'm just going to take, I've got 2.5 cups of warm water here. I'm just going to take out about 1/4 cup, put it in a clean bowl, and I got 1 sachet of yeast. These sachets are all 7 grams. I'm just going to put it in that little bit of warm water to get it activated. All right, then I'm going to add the salt. I've got 1.5 teaspoons of salt here, straight into the residual water there. Stir that up. We've got 3 cups plain flour in here. Whole wheat flour works as well. It's more traditional. We've got plain flour today. All right, so we're gonna get that yeast in there now. And one of the important things to remember is bread's very temperature sensitive. Because it's a bit, it's winter time at the moment, we're on the side of a hill. When I start proving the bread, which is where you know the bread to rise, I'm gonna just punch the dough out and I'm going to sit it down next to the fire so it's got a little bit more heat. I'm just going to start that yeast working in there. Just my hands, make sure they're clean. So I'm just going to add 3/4 of the residual water there and just mix that in. So we're just going to bring that together. Make a nice dough out of that. Add a little bit more water. Most recipes, when you look up, will have a little bit extra water. Because all flour behaves differently, like whole wheat flour will suck up more than plain flour will. So I'm just going to get this to a consistency where the dough is going to come together. It's not too bad, it's looking good. It's going to bring it. So what I'm going to do with that now is I'm going to flour my bench here as best I can in the wind here, and I'm going to start bringing that together. So it's going to take me about 8 to 10 minutes to bring that together till it's in a dough. So I'll start doing that and I'll see you in a minute. All right guys, so I'm just back to put together the goat curry. I've still got the flatbread proving by the fire, but I've got to get this started. It's going to take about 2-ish hours to cook. So I've just got the camp oven here warming up. I've diced up 2 onions. I've got a couple of red ones in here because I got some left over from earlier on. So I just used up some leftovers and another fresh onion. I'm just going to get that started in the camp oven. A little bit of oil, probably about 3 tablespoons worth. We'll just saute those off. I just keep them moving. Just want to get these sweat down. I really enjoy this curry. It's super simple, and you can use it with chicken. You can use it with lamb. If I'm doing it with chicken though, I like to use legs with the bone in, a bit more flavour. I wouldn't use it with like a breast meat or anything like that. But this one we're using goat. So if goat freaks you out, it shouldn't. It's a beautiful meat. But if that freaks you out, you've got a couple of different options there. And I mean, it's simple because it is very simple. I had this for the first time. A little old Iranian lady used to work for me. Made this for dinner one night in the middle of service. She brought it in. We had that. Well, it was probably to the end of the service really. And ever since then, I pestered her for the recipe. And yeah, I cook it often. So we're just going to bring this one to the camp oven. This is a perfect application of the camp oven. All right, so when those are sweat down a little bit more, we're going to add probably, for a kilo of meat, we're going to do a tablespoon of cinnamon, a tablespoon of turmeric, and you can also add a tablespoon of paprika, sweet paprika. Don't use the smoky stuff, it'll change the flavour too much away from what you want. And going back to the goat, I picked this up, diced, ready to go. You won't need to do anything to that, no trimming or anything like that. All right, those onions are looking pretty good now. All right, so I'm just going to get those spices in there and just saute them off really quickly, just get them started. You don't want it to be too raw with your spices, but you also want to be careful not to burn them. All right, so like I said, cinnamon. You normally would associate this with sweets, but trust me, this is the one. Just make sure you don't, when you get your cinnamon, you don't get the apple spice cinnamon, because that's got a bit of sugar in it, and that'll change the flavour profile a little bit too much. The turmeric. You could use saffron, but I wouldn't spend the money on it, to be honest with you. This works perfect. It's going to give it a lovely colour. Just get that moving to start with. Yeah, there it is right there. The best thing about this recipe, I spoke to you about it on the last episode with the tacos, is this is really good for if you're camping with a group of friends or a couple of families and you're taking turns each night to cook. This is a real good one. You can bulk that recipe out, times it out easily, double it, triple it. Chuck it in a bigger camp oven and you'll be able to feed so many people with this, just so simple. All right, the smell of that is amazing. All right, we're gonna get that goat in there now. Just straight in there. We wanna get some color on it before we start adding our tomatoes. All right, so we're just gonna brown this off, break it all up, brown it off. And get some salt in there at this point as well, just to start seasoning that meat. I'll probably season it a couple of times. I'll do it a little bit now, a little bit just probably about halfway through. I'll taste it, and then right at the very end, because it'll drop water and it'll drop water weight. You got to adjust it, so you don't want to try and put all your seasoning in now, because you will probably over season it as the juices come out and then they render down and evaporate. So you can always add, yeah, you can't take away. So we'll just let that tick over a little bit. Now I'm just using diced tomatoes here. Just make sure when you get them, they're not, they don't have any herbs in them. You don't have to use diced tomatoes either, man. If you've got a whole bunch of tomatoes left over from a recipe, or you're overbought at home, you can just chuck them in there with a little bit of stock, cook it down. The skins will be prominent, so probably dice them up a bit. Or you can go through the whole process of blanching them and taking the skin off, but that's a whole nother ordeal. So it'll work fine just to dice them up a bit and chuck them in here. All right, that's getting some nice color on it now. So we're just gonna add the tomatoes. And as soon as we do that, we're just gonna lid it. And if the coals are ready, we're gonna chuck them on the coals. Otherwise, we'll just leave it over here until they are. All right, so just make sure that that's, the meat's all stirred through. All right. And that's it, guys. Bang a lid on that. You're gonna stir it, make sure it's not catching on the bottom, because it will. So probably every 30 minutes. You don't want to open it up too much and lose the heat out of your camp oven, but just make sure it's not catching. Pull it all off the bottom, pull it off the sides, move it around. Now we're gonna put this over at the campfire and cook it on the coals, and we're just gonna leave it there for a couple of hours.
Good to go, mate.
Yeah, can I grab some coals, please?
Good, mate. I've been slaving over this for 3 hours, you know.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I brought the chainsaw,
Yep.
but we're in state forest. I can't take any wood.
Yep.
So I've had to get that bag wood, which is awesome, but
Yeah.
this is super hardwood, and
Yep.
it just takes forever to burn and get some good coal, so it's
Yep.
had to be tricky about it
Yep.
to make sure we don't run out
Yep.
of coals and also wood.
Yeah, I see you've got sort of two little systems going on there.
Yes, mate, the 2 fires virtually,
Yeah, cool.
and a little hole under there I can dig out my
All right, is that good to
coals.
go for me?
That's good to go for you. I've built it up that side a bit more because it's on a bit of an angle here.
All right, I'm gonna show everyone how to form these bad boys up. This bread's all this dough's all risen up.
Right,
So I'll get stuck into that. Our dough's ready. She's been in there for about an hour and 5. It's a bit cooler underneath, so it took a little longer, but she's grown quite a bit, as you can see. Give it a little touch. He's gonna bounce back, but still leave an imprint. I mean, she's perfect. All right. Just gonna flour the bench a little bit. Just a touch. All right. Oh, this is lovely. So we're just gonna knock the air out of it. Divide it up. So we're just going to divide it up evenly, as evenly as you can. Just cut them into long battens. I reckon we'll get 5 cuts each. And we're just going to form those into little balls and roll them out. All right, so we've knocked the air out of these as we go. I'm just going to reform them up a little bit. Give them like 3 or 4 minutes to rest, and then we're going to roll them out. Now, if you don't have a rolling pin, you can use Glad wrap roll. If you don't have a Glad wrap roll, use a cup. Just something that's going to help you roll them out nice and flat. All right, so spread them out a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll them out, transfer them to a plate. A little bit of flour between, once you're on the plate, then once you put your first one down, a little bit of flour, roll it out, next one, and just so on, so on, so. The flour's just going to help them stop sticking together. And then we're going to move it over to the skillet. We've got a nice cast iron flat skillet on the fire over there. And then we're going to cook them about 2 to 3 minutes aside. Flip it over, rip it off onto another plate, let them cool, stack them up. It's going to be our bread for the night. All right, so I've just floured the plate there. You can line it with baking paper as well. This is just less wasteful. This is just a little bit of ingenuity. Work with what you got. You can see that bubbles coming out of there. That's going to cook up real nice. Now you can take these pretty far. You want to roll them out to probably 2 mil thick. All right, and then when we cook them in the pan, we're just going to hit the pan with a little bit of oil. And then cook them out both sides. Now, traditionally, the Iranian recipe will call for, if you look it up, you'll have a skillet in your oven and you'll chuck these in the oven at about 200-ish, and you'll just chuck it in one side and it'll cook in the oven like that. But we're going to use the skillet in here, so we're going to turn it halfway so we get a nice color on both sides. So I'm going to punch these last few ones out, and then when they're all ready to go, I'll see you over at the fire. All right, Glenn, I'm back with the flatbreads. They're ready to go. If I can get another little hot coals for the skillet here, that'd be great. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, those coals looking great.
They are awesome.
All right, so we've got our skillets nice and hot now. I'm just going to dock these bad boys. Remember, that's just for avoiding the shrinkage. Just some fork marks like that, and then straight on the skillet there. We've got enough room on here to do probably 3 or 4 at a time. Yeah, they're going to cook up real nice. Good bit of heat contact through there. So while those are cooking on that side, just drizzle them with a little bit of oil. I'm just going to check this. Yeah, she's ticking over lovely. Nice. Like I said, just want to make sure, give it a little bit of tension, not too much. We've still got probably about 40 minutes on this one, but it's coming up nice. So I've just flipped this back onto its original side. It's had about 3 minutes aside, 3.5 minutes aside. And they've come up nice and golden. They've puffed up a little bit. They're gonna be beautiful on the inside. So I'm just gonna keep going with these until they're cooked. Just keep smashing them in there. Add a little bit of oil if it dries out. You want a little bit, not too much. And yeah, just keep punching through them. All right, Glenn, got the flatbread ready. Curry's ready to go. I've just done some rice here. Just done it in like a traditional Iranian style. So it's just some basmati, a little bit of turmeric in there. I'm going to that in a little bit more detail in a later episode, but all right, you ready to hook in?
I am. I've been sitting here smelling that.
All right, so I'm gonna get this rice going
hours.
in the bowls first. Look at that bad boy.
That.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, so scoop some of that up. Feeling hungry, my man?
I am.
All right. So we'll just get a nice scoop of that rice in there for you.
That looks amazing.
Yeah, the turmeric comes out nice. The basmati's a little bit different. The grain's a bit longer. It's very, very, very good for you. Most diets or healthy diets will have basmati in there as opposed to white rice or brown rice. It's delicious as well, especially done this way. All right, now for the piece de resistance.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. She's ticked over for about 3 hours, just under, and she's come up magic. You're about to experience all those seasonings I was telling you about, and this is right when we want it. We've got about a 20-minute window. After that, the muscle proteins will start breaking down, and it'll start getting real stringy and like pulled beef or something, or pulled pork or whatever. But this is still going to hold its shape, but be super tender. So a beautiful amount of curry in there. Some of that gravy in there as well.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then some of that flatbread we put all that effort into as well. A couple of those in there to soak up some of that. All right, and I just got you some spoons next to you right there in your drink holder.
You know what I love? I love preparing for the food.
Yeah.
I love it takes so long.
Yeah.
Because you sit around, you socialise, you have a few drinks,
Yep.
play a bit of music. Because after this, I'll have a cup of tea, some Tim Tams and go to bed.
No doubt. No doubt.
But no, seriously, it's just an experience cooking this stuff.
The duration of that though is it's part of it though, because you can't get something that finishes like this without the time. Time's important, and the best part about doing these sorts of things or this style of cooking, when you're camping, you got time.
goat, you say?
Goat. Would you believe it?
I don't think I've ever had goat. I don't know.
What do you think?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's very tender meat.
If you give it the time, it won't let you down.
Morning, Adam.
Morning, how we doing?
Mate, I'm doing sensational. Riverdell country. That's what it is on Instagram anyway, but this view, amazing, just out of Maley.
Yeah.
Yeah, great spot to camp. Beautiful. Anyway, I'm hungry now.
Mate, I've got something ready for you.
Yeah. Frittata?
Frittata.
Yum.
Yeah, she'll be
Cheese, egg,
good. Yeah.
sausage.
Sausage today, yep. Potatoes.
Potatoes.
Bit of greens, but that's all right, you won't notice it.
Well, we have made friends with...
We have made friends with salad. We did that yesterday, didn't we?
We did that. Mate, I'm going to let you crack into it.
No worries.
But,
was that a pun there, mate?
Yeah. Poet and didn't know it. Cheers, mate.
No worries. You take a seat. I'll get started.
I will go and get ready for eating.
All right, I'm going to crack on. All right, guys. I'm just making a frittata this morning. I got some Texas chili beef sausages. We make these at Super Butcher. But you could use anything. I like a little bit of spice in the mornings, like a little bit of hot sauce on my eggs, or if I can add a little bit of chili in with the ingredients. So a spicy chorizo will work as well, but if you don't like spice, any sausage will work. I really just want the flavor of the beef or pork and some of the fats to come out of that. All right, so I'm gonna get started on the eggs. So I'm just gonna crack about 8 eggs. Just gonna punch them in with, I'll whisk them up with some milk I've got here, full cream, bit of salt, pepper, and I'm gonna fold some cheese through there as well. All right, so just get them moving. Get it all broken up. A little bit of milk. So for that amount of eggs, I'm probably gonna use about 1/2 to 3/4 cup of milk. You don't want to put too much in there though, otherwise it'll lose its structure. Too much water won't cook you out, or too much moisture, it won't cook you out properly. So just a little bit to lighten it up. All right, so I've got about a cup of cheese here. It's gonna drop that in there as well. All right, that's not gonna mix in, but it'll fold through. So just fold it in there. And just before we put it in the pan, we're gonna add some salt and pepper. Just gonna open up the sausages here. All right, now I'm gonna take the sausage meat out of the skins. So I really wanna get the oils and everything to come out. And I just want it to crumble through the frittata. So these ones are all cut for you, so you can just squeeze it out, drop it in. It's like little meatballs. As big or as small as you want. We'll break them up a little bit as we cook them out. So I'm just getting some color on those sausages. I really want to take them, get them as cooked through at this point as possible. Let's break them up a little bit.
How good was it, those couple of storms that come across last night? We had 3 cells going.
Mate, it was like a disco out on the ocean last night.
It was amazing to be up here and watching that.
Yeah. Oh, we're getting pretty close with those. So I've just got here some potatoes. I've pre-cooked. You'll want to pre-cook them for this one because they're not going to cook out in the pan in time. So yeah, I just got them off a previous cook. I brought them in today. Just cut them about 2 mil. Just chuck them in there, get them warmed up. Get a little bit of crisp on them. Yeah, so these ones we just cooked in a camp oven on a previous episode. Had them in the fridge. They've only been in there for a couple of days, so perfectly fine to reheat. And just put enough in there to cover the bottom of the pan. And if they break up a little bit, that's not too crucial. Just a little bit of salt on there. Just those potatoes. I love potatoes, but I hate potatoes that taste like nothing. So I'm gonna put some flavors in there. They're gonna soak up a bit of that sausage as well. All right. So make sure you use a pan that you can fit, or you've got a lid that's gonna fit over it. So most times, or when you cook frittata or quiche or anything like that in the past, you'll want to put it in the oven. Today we're going to do it on the cooktop. So similar to making a omelette, but we're going to have it all bound up in a nice frittata style. So I like the colour on those potatoes now. Just going to add that spinach and let that wilt down. And spinach is one of those things that looks like I've added way too much, but in about 1 minute, it's going to look like I added nothing. So just going to get the lid on that one. I'm just using the lid of our big camp oven. It's going to fit over nicely. And just let that steam in there for a minute. All right, so as you can see, that spinach is really wilted down. We're ready for the egg. All right, so when I put the egg in, I'm just going to move it around a little bit. Because we're not putting it in the oven, you want to sort of get some ribbons cooked, get it started, because we've only got the heat coming from underneath. So if you just put it in there, put the lid on straight away, you're going to sort of burn on the bottom. You're not going to avoid that completely with this application, this cooking application, but if we ribbon it up a bit, we're going to get way less on it. It's going to come out magic. Mix, give it a season. Don't forget to season your eggs, please. Just before they go in, you don't want the eggs to start breaking down. They'll get all watery and weird. You season them too early. A little bit of pepper. Don't be afraid of cracked pepper. I love the flavor, especially this one with the smoke through it. Right. Just over the top. I want a little bit of a lean here, so I'm going to push it all at the front. Watch it drizzle back. Right, magic. Okay. So like I said, just get that moving. Almost like you're scrambling them or you're making an omelette. You really want to drag it off the bottom for the first probably minute or so of it cooking, so we can get some of the egg cooked through it in the ribbons. Once it's all cooked, you won't notice. All right, you can see some of that egg in there starting to cook real nicely. All right, at this point, I'm just going to pull some of this stuff at the back forward, get that cooked, and I'm going to put a lid on it and just leave it there. It's going to take about 10 minutes to cook through, and then we'll be ready. That's it. Super simple. All right, guys, I'm gonna chuck that lid on there and I'll see you in 10 minutes. All right, guys, it's had about 10-12 minutes. You can see it's just set on top there. Nice and just firm. I don't really want to take it any further than that, because remember, like I said, the bottom's the only place that's got the heat, so while this is just set, the bottom's gonna be cooking, still cooking, so. All right, Glenn, you hungry, mate?
That's my cue.
Right, so I'm just going to cut a nice little wedge out of this bad boy.
Oh, nice.
Those colours, it's going to be beautiful. Lift him up.
Cool. That's your small piece, is it?
We got plenty here, my man.
That's better. That's better. Thanks, mate.
No worries. We got leftovers, no stress on that.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Sweet. Well, thanks for having me around for another CookemUp.
Mate, welcome.
Yeah.
I'll have you anytime.
It's been fun.
Well, mate, I plan on doing a little bit more tripping around, just checking out southeast Queensland and maybe northern New South Wales.
Yep.
Maybe Sand Island.
Yep.
You're welcome to come along.
I'll be here, don't worry about that.
I'm going to eat it. What do you
Sounds
reckon?
good. Sounds good to me. Here you go.
Until next time, frittata up.
Thanks, my man. Let's do it.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah.
G'day guys, Adam here from Super Butcher. If you want to impress your mates and take your cooking to the next level, just go on to superbutcher.com.au, select your postcode, we deliver to your door any of the products you've seen on our shows.